know, there will come a time in your baby's first year when they will all of a sudden begin to cry every time you leave the room. I remember when I was an infant teacher, I had 8 babies that I took care of along with another person. So we each had 4 babies to take care of at one time, if you can imagine. But we would get the infants, they would come into our classroom at different ages, some as early as 6 weeks, and some would come in at 3 months or 4 months or 5 months. It just kind of depended. We had the opportunity to have children at every age of development throughout that first 12 to 18 months. And so it was a really interesting thing to see what they each did at different times. And I can remember that every child just about would go through a stage of development where they would cry every day when I went to lunch. And so when I would walk out the door, they'd start crying. I would assure them I'll be back in just 1 hour, and then I would come back and I'd say, see, here I am, I came back. What that taught me, or what that told me about that baby, is that they have made a very significant cognitive leap, that they now understand that if they can't see me, I still exist. This is what we call object permanence, and it's just this knowledge and understanding that an object or a person still exists even if you can't see them. And so it's really kind of the beginning of this ability to hold an idea or a concept even in your head, even when there's nothing tangible that you can see. This happens at around 8 to 12 months of age. It'll be different for every child. What happens is that it's a little surprising for you because you think, why all of a sudden when I drop my baby at childcare or with the sitter or at your parents' house when you just need a little time away and you're taking them over so they can babysit for you, why all of a sudden are they crying when I leave? And the first inclination for parents is to think something has happened. Something is wrong here that is making my baby unhappy. How can you tell as you play with your baby and spend time with them, how can you tell if they've reached this or they're beginning to reach this milestone? Well, one way is by playing with balls. Now, we all know, you and I, that when we play with balls inside the house and we roll them around on the floor, for sure they're going to roll under some furniture, like under the bed or the couch, and you're not going to be able to see it anymore. And so for a while there, when your baby's really young, the ball will roll under the couch, or they'll forget it's there. They won't even, they won't even think. They'll just move on to the next toy or the next thing that's happening. But when they make this switch in their brain, then they will know that the ball's under the couch, and they will either try to get it themselves or they will communicate to you somehow that, would you get the ball for me? That's a really good indicator for you of what's going on in your child's brain. I was thinking about this as I was preparing to talk to you about it, and I was thinking, well, our dog has object permanence, probably just like your dog, because he will whimper and wail and make all kinds of noise until you come and get the ball from underneath the couch where he can't crawl under there because he's so big. But anyways, you might be wondering how you can help your child when they cry every time you leave. Well, here's what you do. You just reassure them. You tell them, I will be back. I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna go to work. And when you wake up from your nap, it'll almost be time for me to be there. Practice telling them that you're gonna leave and that you're gonna come back, and always come back. And so when you do come back, just, you'll have your joyful reunion, just like moms and dads and their little children always do. And just reassure them, see, I came back. Just like I said, I always am gonna come back. You can practice through play. When you play peekaboo with your tiny little baby, and even up through, kids like peekaboo until they're 3, it seems like. But when you hide your face and then you show your face, what you're showing your child is that, there's a little bit of tension until they understand that you're actually behind your hands. And so this game just kind of intuitively helps children understand this notion of something being there even though you can't see it. Another game that's really fun and to play in an appropriate way, obviously, is hide and seek. And so you can just hide and let half your body show so that your child can come find you. That's a really great game for toddlers and young 3s, is hide and go seek. I know it's really sad when your baby cries when you leave. Just know that it won't always be this way. They will go through this stage of development, and actually it's one to celebrate, even though it's a hard one because they're crying or they're unhappy about it and they have to work through this emotionally as well as intellectually. But their brain soon will make the connections and understand that you will be back, and they'll even begin to get this a little bit of a concept of time and all of those things that will help. But until then, patience and empathy and reassurance, those are the things that will help your child get through this period of developing this understanding.